Bruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Nun Hey Amud Aleph, 3 lines from the bottom. After the Gemara had told us that even tzaddikim gemurim who are mekayim the mitzvahs, may Aleph ad Tov, are held responsible for not giving Teichacha rebuke when they could do so, even if they do not know whether the person will receive and accept the rebuke. As long as they don't know for sure, then they're obligated to give the rebuke. Says the Gemara now, what about regards to Yisurim and Misa? Do those also come with somebody who did all of the mitzvahs? Even so, he will get Yisurim and Misa? Or it only comes with the sins that he has done? Says the Gemara, Omrav Ami ein Misa b'loi chet. Vein Yisurin beloy ovon. Rav Ami says that there is no Misa without Chet. That means that Chet causes Misa. Similarly, he says that also there's no Yisurim beloy ovon. That the Yisurim come about as a result of iniquity, of sin. The connotation of Chet refers to that which was unintentional. And therefore, even unintentional sin ultimately brings Misa. However, he says, Ein Misa below Chet. Unless a person did at least an unintentional sin, he will not die. And he says, when it comes to Yisurin, that the intentional sin, that brings about Yisurim. Over here, we're referring to the Yisurim, not just regular pains and aches that everybody has to then suffer through in this world, different trials and tribulations. That is not what we're referring to over here. Here we're referring to en Yisurim beloy ovon, is that the Yisurim that are considered Yisurim mechuarim, those very difficult, very painful, and unusual type of sufferings, that's only, he says, going to be with ovon, with iniquity. Says the Gemara, ein Misa beloy chet, he brings a pasuk d'chsiv, hanefesh hachaites hi tamus. Ben lo yisa ba'ovon ha'av, va'av lo yisa ba'ovon ha'ben, tzitkas ha'tzadik alov tiyeh, v'drishas ha'rosha alov tiyeh. The soul that sins will die, not the son because of the father because of the son. It's the righteousness that will be upon the righteous one, and the wickedness that will be upon the wicked one. Ein Yisurim beloy ovoin dichsiv. There's no Yisurim without ovoin. Brings a pasuk. Upokadeti b'shevet, and I will visit with the staff, with the rod. Pisham. Their, again, this is supporting what we just said. Their active iniquity here refers to such a negligence, which is going to be a rebellious type of behavior. Uvenegoyim avoinom, and the negoyim will be then visited upon a person as a result of avoinom, again, their mazy, their intentional type of sin. Says the Gemara with the following question on the top of Nun Hey Amud Beis, Meisvei. Ask the Gemara, Amru Malachi Ashareis Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Malachim asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu the following question: Ribono shel Olam, mibnei ma kanasta misa al Adam Harishon. Why did Adam Harishon receive misa? Omar lehem mitzvah kala tzivisov v'over aleh. I myself commanded Adam Harishon, and he transgressed my command. Omar le, the Amru le, the Malach Ashur said back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'haloi Moshe v'Aaron shekimu kol haTorah kula umesu. Moshe and Aaron fulfilled the entire Torah, and yet they had a knas of Misa as well. Omar lehem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu replied to the Malachim, Mikra echod latzadik v'larosha latoy v'goymer. One event causes death for both the tzaddik and the rasha. So therefore, everybody is going to get the knas of Misa, whether he does a chet or not, implies this Tana. Hudo Amar Ki Tana. The Gemara answers, he's like the following Tana. The Tanya, it says in the Brisa of Reb Shimon Elazar, Omer af Moshe v'Aaron bechetam mesu. He holds that Moshe and Aaron did deserve misa because they did a chet. What was their sin? Shnei Amaz, it says in the Pasuk, Ya'an lo he'emantam bi, because you did not trust in me by the Mei Meriva. Ha he'emantam bi, diuk. If you did trust me, adayin lo higia zmanchem lipotem min ha'olam. You would not have died from and left this world. Meisvei asked the Gemara from the following Brisa, a different Tana. Arba meisu be'etyo shel Nachash. There are 4 who died because of the counsel of the Nachash when he seduced Chava. In other words, not because of their own sin. Ve'eluhein, and they are as follows: Binyamin ben Yaakov, Binyamin Hatzadik, one of the 12 Shvatim of Yaakov Avinu. Ve'amram Avi Moshe, the father of Moshe Rabbeinu, Olav Hashalom Amram. Ve'yishai Avi David, the father of David HaMelech, Yishai. Ve'Kalev ben David, and the son of David named Kalev. The 4 of them only died because of the knas that took place as a result of the Nachash who seduced Chava and caused Adam and Chava to sin. Ve'Kulu Gemara, and it's all learned out through a Mesara, Lebar Miyishai Avi David, the Mefaresh Beikro, with the exception of Yishai, the son of the father of David, where we learn from the following verse, Dichsiv, Ve'es Amasa Sam Avshalom Tachas Yoyev Tsar Hatzava, that Avshalom placed as Amasa to be in head of the army, underneath, in place of Yoav. Amasa ben Ish ushmo Yisro HaYisraeli. And Amasa was the son of Ish, whose name was Yisro HaYisraeli. Asher ba el Avigail bas Nachash achois Truya eim Yoav. That came to Avigail, he refers to Avigail in the Pasuk as Bas Nachash, the sister of Truya, the mother of Yoav. Asked the Gemara, V'chi Bas Nachash? Havai, was Avigail the daughter of Bas Nachash? V'haloi Bas Yishai Havai. Avigail was the daughter of Yishai, as it's proven from the following verse, Dichsiv, V'acha Yosei and Tzruya v'Avigail. Tzruya and Avigail were the sisters of the brothers, the sons of Yishai. Ella Bas Mishemeis Be'etil Shel Nachash. Rather, it's in reference to the daughter of the one who died because of the counsel, the Etio of the Nachash. So here we see that indeed Yishai was one of the 4 who died only because of the counsel of the Nachash, but not because of his own sin. Mani, the Gemara concludes, Ilei motana de malach hashores. If you want to say the Tana, Mani, who is the author of this latter brisa? Ilei motana de malach hashores. If you want to suggest that it's the Tana of the previous brisa, who said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, after all, Moshe v'Aaron were Mekayim the entire Torah, so why did they die? Mashma, that they didn't deserve to die, they didn't do any sin. And if this was the Tana, then he should not only include 4, but even Moshe and Aaron, which would be 6, that did not sin and yet died. V'ha'ika Moshe v'Aaron. Elalav Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. He rather it must be authored by Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. V'shma'amina yesh misa b'loi chet v'yesh yisurim b'loi ovon. And now we have proven from both Tanoim, the Tana that brought the Malachi Ashores above in the first brisa, as well as the second brisa, who's authored by Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, they both say that there are such a thing as a person who's dying without chet. V'tiyufta de Rav Ami, tiyufta. And indeed, this is a refutation against Rav Ami, who began by saying there's no misa b'loi chet. Says the Gemara, Amar Shmuel bar Nachmeni, Amar B'Yoinison, Kol ha'oimer Reuven chata eino ela toya. Anybody who says that Reuven, the son of Yaakov Avinu, the Bechar, he sinned by laying with the Pilegesh Bilha, is making a mistake. Shenema, as it says in the Pasuk, Vayu b'nei Yaakov shneim osar. Immediately after the incident says, and Yaakov Avinu had 12 tribes, 12 sons, including Reuven. Melamed shekulan shkulin ka'achas, that they were all equal. They're all righteous. Elamani mekayim. What then do I do to then explain the following verse? Vayishkav es bilha pilekesh ofiv, that he lied down with the concubine Bilha of his father. Melamed shebilbel matzo shel oviv. This comes to teach us that he confused the bed of his father. Umayla alav hakozov ki ilu shochav ima. And the pasuk then considers it as if he lied down with her. But it doesn't mean literal, rather it means that he took the concubine's bed away from the tent and placed instead his mother's bed. Tanya, the Gemara brings a brayso, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, oimer mutzal oisoi tzadik me oiso ovoin, v'lo ba ma'aseh ze liyodo, referring to Reuven, that Reuven was saved from doing that sin, and that sin never came to his hands. He never did a sin. Because Esher, he proves, Osid Zaro la'amod al har Eval. Is there going to be in the future, could it be that in the future, his seed will stand on har Eval? The Shvatim stood on har Grizim and har Eval and gave brachos and kololos. And Reuven, Sheva Reuven, was of the 6 that stood on har Eval. V'lomen, they said, Orur, shochev im ish eshes aviv. Cursed is the one who lies with his father's wife. V'yovo chet zel liyado. Could he then come with this chet in his hand? Certainly not. And certainly, therefore, Reuven did not sin literally when it says, Vayishkav es bila pilegesh aviv. Elamai ne mikayim vayishkav es bila pilegesh aviv. He continues to explain Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. Elbon imoy tova. He came to them bitoveya, his mother's humiliation. After all, his mother was Leah. So although she was second to Rachel, but once Rachel passes away, she's deserved to then be the Iker, to be the main one that Yaakov is with in the tent. Omar, he said, Im achois imi haiset tzora leimi. If my mother's sister was a co-wife, meaning that she was the one who was in competition, le'imi, with my own mother, then shivchas achos imi tehei tzor le'imi, should the shivcha of my mother's sister, namely Bilha, should she be the one who's in competition with my mother? Omad ubilbel es matzah. He stood up and he confused, meaning he moved the bed of Bilha. Acherim oimrim shtei matzos bilbel. He actually confused 2 beds. Acha shel shchina va'acha shel oviv. One of the shchina and one of his father. The shchina, Yaakov Avinu used to set a separate bed up in each tent to know which was the night that he should stay with which wife, because after all, where is the shchina going to reside? So it says over here, according to Acherim, that even he was mebalbel the bed of the shchina. And he brings a verse. Oz chilalta yitzui alo. The pasuk says, "You profane my bed." Al tikra yitzuri ela yitzuoi, in plural. You profane my beds. The Gemara says actually there's a machlokes tanoim whether Reuven actually sinned by laying with Bilha or not. Kitanoi. It says in the pasuk, "Pachaz kamaim al toisai." Yaakov Avinu, when he gave the blessings, he actually said to Reuven, Pachaz kamaim al toisar. You're like water that is running. That's how impetuous you behaved with your anger. Rabbi Eliezer Oimer, the following, darshaning the word Pachaz, Pei, Ches, and Zayin. Pazito, you acted with haste. Chavto, you were actually held accountable. Zalto, you were mezalzil, you belittled, meaning he held that he did the sin. Rabbi Yoshua Omer pasata al das, you jumped over the das, the religion, the Torah. Chatosa, you sinned. Zanisa, you're mezane. Again, this Tana as well holds that Reb Uvein was shochav kipshutoi im bila. However, Rabbi Gamliel Omer, pilalta, you daven chalta, and you entreated, and therefore zarcha tfilosecha, your tefillah was shown. It shone bright, meaning before the potential sin, you daven to avoid the sin, and you were successful. So here, Rabbi Gamliel holds indeed that he did not do the sin kipshutoi. Omer Rabbi Gamliel adayin tzrichin on lemodoi, but we still need the modoi to then confirm what I just said. Rabbi Eliezer Amodoi Oimer, he said hafuch esatei v'darsha. Take the word pachaz and darshan it backwards. Zayin ches pei. Za'azosa, you trembled. Hartata, you drew back. Parcha chet mimcha, the sin went away from you, and therefore he desisted from doing the sin. So there's two Tanoim here that say that he actually was shochav im bila, and two that say no, chas v'sholom, it's not what the pasuk means. Rava Omar va'amri lo Rabbi Yirmiyahu bar Abba. Rava said, and some say it was Rabbi Yirmiyahu bar Abba, like the two Tanoim, the latter Tanoim that said he never sinned by being shochav im bila, but rather he just moved the bed. It says Zacharta, he darshan the pasuk, also the pasuk when it says Pachaz, backwards, Zayin Ches Pei, Zacharta oin shel davar, you remember the potential punishment for such a sin. Chalisa atzmecha choyli godov, you became sick as a result of potentially sinning. Pirashta melachto, and you prevented yourself from sinning. And therefore, again, he is like the opinion Rava, like the two Tanoim that say that Chas v'Sholom Reuven never sinned by laying with Bilha. The Gemara now brings a way of remembering all of these cases, Reuven, which we just saw, Bnei Elim, Bnei Shmuel, David, Vishlomo, Yoshiyahu, are a siman. All these are going to be a siman, speaking about how each one did not sin the way we might have thought from the literal translation of the verses. Says the Gemara, Rab Shmuel bar Nachmeni, Rab Yonasan, Kol ha'omer b'nei Eli chatu, eino ela toyeh. All those that say b'nei Elim were chayte in the sense that they had adultery, they're making a mistake. Shenema says, Visham shnei b'nei Eli chafni upinchas koyhanim laHashem. Sover lakarav da'omar Rav. What did Rav say? Pinchas lo chata. Pinchas did not sin. Makish chafni le Pinchas, and we make a hekesh. We juxtapose and make a limud that not only did Pinchas not sin, but also Chafni did not sin either. Ma Pinchas lo chata, af Chafni lo chata. Just as Pinchas did not sin, so too Chafni, his brother, did not sin. The pasuk seems to say literally that they lied with the women. Mitoich shesho es kinehen, answers the Gemara, because they waited for bringing the bird offerings of these women, that did not allow the women to then go home on time. It's as if the pasuk says that they lied with them. In other words, these women came to bring an offering either because they were yoledes, who just gave birth, or because they were a zava and they need to bring a offering. But because because Chafni was lax in bringing the carbon, and therefore he pushed it off and delayed it, causing these women to then stay longer in the Mishkan of Shiloh. And therefore they did not go back to their husbands. Therefore the pasuk refers to them as being those who laid with the women. Oh, okay. Now the Gemara goes back and says, Gufa. Omar Rav says, going back to the statement we made before, Pinchas loichata, Pinchas did not sin. Shneimah says, Va'achia ben Achituv, Achi I kavoid ben Pinchas ben Eli Kohen Hashem. The pasuk goes ahead and refers to Achia as wearing the garments of the kahuna, of the Kohen Gadol, and praises Achia, and then presents his lineage as being the son, ultimately great-grandfather, of who had Pinchas as a great-grandfather. So you see over here, the fact that it lists Pinchas, says Rav that it must be that Pinchas did not sin. Could a sin come to Pinchas' hand and he would be listed in the lineage? It says in the pasuk, Yachres Hashem la'ish asher yasena va'oine me'ala Yaakov umagish mincha la'Hashem tzvakos. It says that Hashem will cut down the one that will do this, referring to adultery. Somebody who is alert, va'oine, and responsive me'ala Yaakov, from the tents of Yaakov, umagish mincha l'Hashem tzvakos, and will bring the mincha offering of Hashem. Im Yisrael, Gemara comments on this verse. Im Yisrael, if it was a regular Yisrael, a non-Kohen, lo yeh lo er b'chachami, he won't be somebody who's alert to be amongst of the chachamim, v'lo oine b'talmidim, and he won't be able to, so he's going to answer the students. V'im Kohen, and if, however, he's a Kohen, lo yeh lo ben magish mincha, then he won't have a son who's magish, who will bring the mincha offering, as the verse goes on to say in the latter part. Elalav shmamina Pinchas lo chata. Rather, we can derive from him that Pinchas did not sin. Elahok Siv asked the Gemara, if Pinchas did not sin, why does the verse say in plural, asher yishkevun, that they lied down? Answers the Gemara, yishkevein kasim. He lied with them, not just that they lied, but he lied, referring to only one. Vaksiv, it says, Albonai, in plural. I'll read you the entire verse. The first verse says, Albonai ki lo tova hashmua asher anochi shomea ma'avirim im Hashem. So here it says, plural, Albonai, no, my children, says Eli to Pinchas and Lachara, Pinchas and Chafni. Ki lo tova hashmua. The shmua is a bad shmua. You're getting a bad reputation. Rav Nachem bar Yitzchak beni ksiv. Don't read bonai, read beni, singular. I asked the Gemara, but the latter part of that verse reads vaksiv ma'aviram. You're causing them to transgress. You plural. No. Answer the Gemara. Rav Huna bered Rav Yeshua ma'aviram. He is causing them, not that they are causing to.